Nerd Nation, to this latest edition of the Sports Nerd Show. We are a collection of sports nerds whose mission is to bring you as much sports talk as time allows over the next 60 minutes. Although we will strive to be highly informative and equally as entertaining over the next hour, we must warn you that there may be some cuss words along the way. But we don't give a damn because that is the way most humans in the real world tend to talk, and we, the sports nerds, are no exception. So without further ado, Nerd Nation, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as I present to you the founder and host of this crazy-ass show, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am your host, Mr. Scott Wright. What's going on? I won't post to Facebook. What's going on? Come on now. What's going on here? My goodness.
Gestapo book ain't working?
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, hang on a second. Let me check on it. No, I won't go do that. Something's going on where it's not. I can't do it to. Come on now. Well, guys, we are not on Facebook, unfortunately. I don't know why, but we're not on Facebook. This is weird.
And you can't complain because Facebook's free.
Well, yeah, I know that. That's just weird. I don't know why we're not live on Facebook. That just goes crazy. Just drives me crazy.
Can you post a video later?
What's that?
Can you post a video after the fact?
I can post a video after the fact. Yeah, pretty much.
So let's roll on then.
That works for me. Anyway, I seem to be the outlier because I guess you two both watched the NBA draft last night, and I did not. Go figure.
Well, you're not I'm
not a big NBA fan. You're right. I mean, that's
Wayne doesn't follow the NBA really tight, except for when he's dogging on the Lakers.
But we all dog on the Lakers.
By the way, congratulations! You got the second half of your double dip when the Lakers took Bronny at 55. Now you got.
Did they take him at 55?
Yep.
Now you got JJ Redick and Bronny to clown on. Coming season. You got all the material you wanted.
You just heard my sigh.
Yes, I did.
The thing is that unless you follow the sport, or unless you are not indifferent towards the sport, because you are, kind of like John is indifferent towards baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And basketball for that matter, because his teams suck. But it's interesting to find out the dynamics of where these players, especially now, as I mentioned in the green room, the international flavor of it all. I mean, 1/3 of the 60 picks in this draft this year were international players.
Yeah.
And that's probably the highest that it's ever been. You know, sure, there was no clear cut. There was no Victor Wembanyama this year. Nobody knew who the clear cut number one was, but there were also underlying stories. You know, there were stories within the story, and it's just intriguing. Plus, the NBA, it's not like the NFL where it's 10 minutes between picks. It's only 5 minutes.
Right.
So it goes pretty quick. You know, and I mean, I know that you like to say that you root for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, that might be an impetus enough for you to at least watch until the Cleveland Cavaliers pick so you know who they're getting.
Yeah.
When your team is drafting 24th and 25th, it's a long wait, but you learn a lot along the way because the Knicks made some moves that involve trading picks and moving stuff around.
Yeah, I understand that they gave up 5 first-round picks for one guy from the Nets.
Mikal Bridges.
They gave
up.
And
then they picked up multiple second-round picks.
They picked up 5 first-round picks for one draftee at pick number 26.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of people out there, and I'm really happy with the fact that the Knicks went out. Everybody's saying they overspent on Bridges and they overspent on Anunoby, which, by the way, we got him back in the fold.
Yep.
But the thing is that you have to look at it this way. You have to understand what the CBA and the cap and all that stuff is about before you start making comments about somebody spending too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Knicks had 11 first-round picks in the next 7 years, right?
I
What
mean,
are you
they're
gonna do with
picks
11?
out to 2031, for God's sakes. That's 7 years from now.
Well, that's what I said. They had 11 first-round picks for the next 7 years. The Knicks are about a win-now attitude. They're not about development and waiting 7 years to draft 11 guys that might not either make it or even play in the NBA.
Right.
Okay. The Nets, on the other hand, they're a team that's desperate to win, and they're going to do what they got to do.
Yep.
Like this year, they're going to tank. They'll probably get rid of the other two best players that they got, and then they're going to tank so they can get the highest picks possible to try to rebuild a crippled franchise.
Right.
Okay.
They look like they're ripping it down to the studs.
Yeah, basically. And to say that the Knicks overspent, look, the Knicks gave up 4 unprotected first-round picks, 1 protected, and 1 swap second-round pick or something like that. I don't really know the entire details. But if you think about it, if the Knicks are contenders now, and look, they finished with the number 2 seed last year in the East with a team that was kind of riddled with injury towards the end of the season.
Yep.
But yet they wound up drafting 24th, 25th. What are you going to get at 24th, 25th is going to impact your team today?
Probably nothing.
Nothing, really. You're looking at G League prospects. It's like Bronny. He's probably going to go back and forth from G League to the Lakers.
Yep.
Just so he can get his play time in. You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks figured, well, why are we going to wait on picks that are like going to wind up being in the late 20s if we're contending for a title? Why are we keeping them? We still got 6 of them left.
Right.
And we picked up another 5 second-rounders to go along with all the other second-rounders we had.
Agreed.
Okay? So, and here's the thing. When you do that, it counts against your cap as you start getting rid of picks like that and stuff.
Yeah.
It increases your cap space. Okay? So, yeah, they still had 2 first-round picks this year. It's not like they gave away first-round picks this year.
Right.
And one of them they wound up trading for 5 second-round picks. A guy that's never even played the game before on the NBA level. And they got 5 second-round picks, which now they can use to bargain for other possible, transactions with other teams. So,
Right.
Speaking of second-round picks, rumor is out here anyway. Bronny, he is not interested in a 2-way contract going back and forth between the G League and the Lakers. So they're trying to make sure that he gets with the team and sticks with the team. But we'll see how that.
You know what, guys? I go back to the fact that Bronny gets all the hype because of whose son he is. But the fact remains to me.
Not the hype. He gets all the media attention.
Yeah, all right.
Not hype.
But the fact remains to me is the kid was not a great college basketball player. He really wasn't.
No, and people will make the argument that he was not in a good situation for himself. You know what I'm saying? The coaching, the objective of the college, the university, and plus USC had a kid that got drafted last night at 29, Isaiah Collier.
Yep.
Was way better than Bronny James, and that's because he had all the playing time to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Bronny James didn't get a lot of playing time. He averaged 5 points a game at the most.
Which is why I say there's a difference between hype and media attention. Okay.
Right.
And don't forget the health scare as well. So that impacted his growth as a player as well.
That slowed down his
Correct.
growth as a player, exactly. And the thing is that you really can't hype a guy that scores 5 points a game, but you can give him plenty of media attention because of the association he has with what some people call the best player in the NBA.
Nepotism.
No, it's not nepotism, because LeBron's not the one who hired him. The Lakers did. Now, if it was somebody that was Rob Pelinka's son and they picked them, that's a different story. That's nepotism. Nepotism is when you're the boss and you hire family members. Sure, on the edges, you can claim that LeBron is some kind of boss in the Lakers organization,
Right.
but he's not the boss.
He's the faux GM.
Yeah, he's the pseudo owner of the. But the thing is that you never know. Bronny could come out. I don't think Bronny actually even wanted to play on the same team as his father. But who else was going to take him?
And the only reason they would have taken him is in an effort to get LeBron to sign with them.
Which, even if they didn't take him, LeBron's not going to leave $162 million sitting on the table.
No.
Okay. And they're the ones that could offer him the most money. Other teams couldn't offer him that much. Okay.
The one thing I will say about the entire draft, the most shocking thing to me was the fact that at 17, the Lakers were able to get Dalton Knecht.
Oh,
at
yeah.
17. He should have went way before that.
Way far. I was just as surprised that Memphis took Zach Edey at 9. Because was it Memphis? Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis at 9.
But here's the thing: Memphis is a team that likes to. Their offense is built around a running up and down the court. Zach Edey's not that guy.
No.
He lumbers along and plays down low, and you know what I'm saying. His game is slow compared to what the style of Memphis's game is.
He would have been more suited for Utah.
Yeah, something like that. He would have even been more suited for somebody like the Knicks, who don't play the run and gun offense. You know what I'm saying? But I think the ones that actually made out this time around were the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they wound up getting the kid from Kentucky,
Rob Dillingham.
Rob Dillingham, after the Spurs took him with the 8th pick.
And then traded him.
And then traded him for a 30-31 pick.
20-31 pick, yeah. So their pick is now 12 or 13 years old, waiting in the wings.
Yeah, basically. And a lot of people were wondering, well, why are these teams trading for 20-31 picks all of a sudden? Is there like a bunch of LeBron James coming out in about 7 years?
Yeah, but they're picking number 4, Stephon Castle. That was a good pick for San Antonio.
That was a really good pick.
That was a good pick.
I think he's going to thrive with what they have now, and Wembanyama 1 year under his belt.
Yep.
Watch out for San Antonio in the next couple, 2 or 3 years. They're going to be something to contend with.
How much longer do you think Pop has in San Antonio? I mean, he's getting really up there. So
As long as he wants to, probably.
Exactly. I think he dies on the court one day. And then
He's 72.
Yeah. And by the time they use all those picks, he'll be about in his 80s.
And
so
Pop, he'll still be just as fiery as he is now.
that's what I'm saying. Getting back to the Knicks real quick, a lot of people were like, well, why'd they give up that many picks? Last year, they wouldn't do it for Donovan Mitchell. This year, they wouldn't do it for some of the more elite players. Well, if you think about it again, a lot of people, casual fans in particular, don't understand what the cap rules and the CBA are all about. Okay. We got Mikal Bridges for all those picks, but here's the thing. Those are picks that we weren't going to use anyway, and the Knicks historically don't draft well as it is. Okay. But we got rid of all those picks for him because of the fact that his contract was team friendly going into the next season. If we go after KD or Booker or Mitchell, or they're going to make twice as much as what Mikal Bridges is making, which in turn would have been impossible for us to sign OG and still have a chance to sign Hartenstein. Okay, he's getting 21 million. Do you think that 21 million? Do you think that Booker or any of those guys are going to be getting paid 21 million dollars next year? No.
Well, you know, KD's not coming for that amount.
No, he's not. You know, and that's just it. Plus, you get Bridges, you got instant chemistry because he's got 3 of his running mates on the New York Knicks. You bring somebody else in who doesn't have any chemistry with the team, and that can screw everything up and set you back a few years.
Right.
So who do they need to sign now so they can get the starting 5 back from Villanova?
Well, there are not going to be a starting 5 from Villanova. I think the 4 is it.
So 4 is it. Then I going to go out and get somebody else.
Whoever the center was, he's probably working at a Walmart right now. But,
Be right back, guys.
Yeah. No, I think the key right now for them after they sign Anunoby is to use whatever cap space they got left to sign Hartenstein. If you,
I believe that's what they're going to do.
And they're probably gonna have to get rid of Mitchell Robinson to do that. But Mitchell Robinson's injury history doesn't really, make it.
Well, not only that, Hartenstein earned it throughout the course of the playoffs.
And again, we don't need here's the thing too, is we don't need a score. Everybody's like, we need a center that can score. No, we don't. We need a center that can defend, pass, and rebound. We got all kinds of other guys that can score.
Well, just picking up Mikal Bridges in and of itself, now you have a legitimate 3 and D guy.
Well, he's a wing player. He's a two-way wing guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He plays both offense, defense.
Yep.
Durable. What's he got, like 484 consecutive games to start his career?
Yeah, hadn't missed a game yet.
Nope. And he, above all, he is the prototypical player that Tom Thibodeau likes to coach. And then you put him together with Brunson and Hart and DiVincenzo. Now you got Randall coming back. You got Anunoby. You got so what's going to happen is that DiVincenzo and Hart are going to wind up coming off the bench.
So they're going to put Bridges in the starting lineup.
Bridges will be the 2 next to Jalen Brunson.
Randall will be the 4.
Anunoby will be the 3 because he's
also will be the 4.
Randall will be the 4, and Hartenstein will be the 5.
I'll tell you who also did fairly well last night. The Trailblazers did decent. Yeah, Trailblazers did decent last night.
They got Klingon with their first pick.
And then they traded for I can't remember his name, from Washington, when they traded Bub Carrington. Yeah.
Little Bub
Carrington to Washington.
The Wizards didn't do too bad either, if you come to think about it. But the Wizards got a lot of work to do, of course. But I feel bad for the kid that thought he got drafted by one team and didn't know he's going to the Wizards. Actually,
I think that was Bub Carrington.
Yeah. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, because they're stripping it down to the studs as well. The Wizards, of course, they've already been stripped down to the studs. They really can't do much more.
They've been self-stripped for years now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: they were talking yesterday. I've been watching. I watched ESPN this morning, and they were talking about Dalton Knecht from Tennessee going to the Lakers at number 17.
Connect.
Yeah. And they were saying that he could be. He's a Bronny James type player who plays that strong forward position.
He's much better than Bronny James.
You can't call anybody a Bronny James type player and take that seriously. Okay.
I'm just saying. It seemed like they took him to indicate they weren't going to take Bronny because the guy plays the same position.
No, because the guy's taller than Bronny. He's more physical than Bronny. Okay.
That's an insult to Dalton Connect right there if they said that.
Here's the difference. Connect is already NBA ready.
Yeah.
And Bronny's not.
Bronny's not. You see, so Bronny is more of a future pick and to carry on maybe his dad's legacy after his dad retires. But for the here and now, Connect, I mean, if you listen to everyone last night, they were surprised he dropped all the way down to 17.
I was surprised. I thought he was going to be top 5, to be quite honest with you.
They're saying he was a steal at 17.
Oh, without a doubt.
He was robbery at 17.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, so much so that Stephen A was fucking going crazy about it. You know what I'm saying?
And who was the team? I mean, I think it was Memphis that got Zach Edey out of Purdue.
Yeah, number 9.
Grizzlies at number 9.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Zach Edey's the only guy I know because I've seen him play in the tournament. I know who he is.
But
and he's a dominated center. He's dominating.
Right.
Center.
But as I said to Wayne when you walked away, when you excused yourself.
Excuse me.
Okay. Zach.
When you got to go, Elliot. I'm sorry.
I got no problem with that. As long as you don't go on the screen, we're good. Zach Edey, the thing I got with that pick is that Memphis Grizzlies' offensive style doesn't fit a player like Zach Edey, who's a post player and plays physical down low.
Yeah.
How's he going to get up and down the court on a team that likes to run the ball, especially when John Morant comes back?
Yeah.
They don't play half-court offense in Memphis.
Right.
You know, so he's a big body. I just don't see where, unless he gets physically fit to the point where he can start running up and down the court, I don't see where he's going to make a tremendous impact because I think he's with the wrong offense.
Okay? Really?
He needed to go to an offense that plays
half-court,
a half-court style.
That's why I said Utah would have been the perfect place for him, but they already got another slow, tall guy in Rudy Gobert. So
does John Morant come back next season? Is that what the schedule is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, did you see Rudy Gobert said he would have dominated Shaq?
Come on,
you know what?
man.
Rudy Gobert could shut the fuck up, is what I'm saying. Give me a break. Come on. I mean, there wasn't anybody that could dominate Shaq.
Dude,
Shaq was playing.
He couldn't even dominate Isaiah Likely.
You know what? To be honest, he couldn't dominate Shaq now at his age. I'm sorry. He just couldn't do it.
I don't know what Rudy Gobert thinks. I even put down best joke of the day, Frenchie. You know, because it's downright.
I mean, Shaq's in his what, 50s? He can still dominate Rudy Gobert. Give me a break.
Dude, where was his Swiss? I mean, his defense was Swiss cheese against Dallas.
Yeah. And
that was just against Lively and Gafford. And he was on roller skates whenever he had to go out on the pick and roll against Luka. So, I mean, he had nothing on John Travolta and Saturday Night Fever, all those dance moves.
Yeah, dude. He was like Gregory Hines.
Staying alive, staying alive.
Out there at the top of the key, tap dancing.
I mean, Gregory Hines had nothing on him when he was that 3-point line. But look, I think, and Minnesota has Gobert, Cat, and them guys. I think they did okay getting, what's the kid from Kentucky?
Rob Dillingham.
Dillingham, there you go.
Rob Dillingham with the Spurs.
I was kind of surprised that the Houston Rockets took Reed Shepherd.
I'm not so surprised. They do need some outside shooting.
I thought what they were going to do is take Klingon and then put, what's their center? Sengun, or whatever his name is.
Oh, Seguin?
Yeah, and put him on the trading block and maybe send him to Phoenix with those picks that they got for Durant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, they already got Fred VanVleet, they got Dylan Brooks, they got all kinds of guys that can play, out on the perimeter. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Well, the NBA is becoming more and more of a 5-out league anyway, so they're looking for, people that can shoot.
And well, guys, let me ask you this, okay? I mean, I'm an old school guy. Are we all of the opinion that we miss the NBA of the 80s and 90s? Do we miss that type of play?
I miss the 90s NBA, the 80s NBA, the later 80s NBA, and the early 90s NBA was a bloodbath when the Pistons decided to.
I mean, the Pistons just beat the fuck out of Michael Jordan his first 4 years.
When Bird and Magic came into the league, and the whole Boston-Los Angeles rivalry reached epic proportions during those days with Ralph Sampson and them guys. Yeah, those were some great days of basketball. But you have to think. Yes, you can miss them as a truist. You know what I'm saying? But the game has changed dramatically over that time. You know what I'm saying? You can't even look at anybody the wrong way without getting a technical call on you. The money is outrageous. It's not about the sport anymore. It's about the money. You know what I'm saying? And you got guys. Seriously, how many of you, like, you look at LeBron, every team he goes to, he has this presence about being the one who's running shit. Who was running shit back in the 80s and 90s?
The GMs and the coaches themselves.
You see?
The teams were in control. Now the CBA has it set up to where the players are in control, more or less.
More or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the dynamic of the game has changed. Sure. I mean, I miss a lot of things from back in my day. But I got to roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, just look at it from a standpoint. We're talking about money and change. Just look at it from the standpoint of when Bird and Magic came into the league. Championship games were broadcast live. Up until that point, they had them on tape delay.
They were recorded.
Yeah, they were on tape delay.
Correct.
Well, and
not your late local news at 11:30 at night.
What changed that was Bird and Magic, their rivalry.
Basketball wasn't the juggernaut then that it is now.
Yeah.
Especially with the global aspect involved.
And then the 90s came around, and when Jordan became as popular as he was, NBC was broadcasting that shit live all the time.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing that happened with the WNBA with Caitlin Clark coming in this
I
year.
agree. I mean, that
you
rivalry
very rarely saw a WNBA game on TV. Now it's like every night there's one.
On every channel. I mean, ION, CBS, ABC,
right.
ESPN.
Right. Every time Indiana plays Chicago, it's much watched TV because of that rivalry. I mean, it's becoming a serious rivalry in the WNBA.
Must watch TV is going to be on Sunday when the Fever visit the Mercury in Phoenix. Diana Taurasi.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
And not to mention that Brittany Griner's gotten into that controversy too.
Yep.
Talking shit about Caitlin Clark.
She's with the Liberty, right?
No, she's with the Mercury.
Oh, Mercury. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brittany Griner. Yeah.
Griner?
Yeah, Brittany Griner, Mercury.
She's with the Phoenix Mercury. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Liberty have like Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. You know what I mean? Two of the best 3-point shooters in WNBA.
Right.
Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, they ball.
Ionescu's the one that went up against Stephen Curry in the All-Star 3-point shooting competition.
Correct.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna, like I told you the last show, August 26th, I'm going up to see that game live in Phoenix.
That should be fun, Elliot, for you and the family. I'm helping you have a good time.
Yeah, no, I plan on it. I mean, I'm gonna be right there. I might have to buy me a Liberty jersey before that.
I'm a little disappointed because Cameron Brink tore her ACL. I kind of want to see her play game with the Sparks here in LA.
And you know what? What's also, and I'm being a guy here, but what's also nice about Cameron Brink is she was not afraid to show her flesh.
That was a nasty That was a nasty injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Who was that player that one time was on a fast break and all of a sudden his leg just snapped in half?
Oh,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He came back and played a few years later. I mean, his leg literally snapped in half at the knee.
I can't remember who it is, but I remember Gordon Hayward when he was in Boston, and his leg looked gnarly after that one particular play, that unfortunate injury he had.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is the other day they were comparing players that had guts and shit like that, and they were comparing Kobe when he tore his ACL and decided he didn't need a wheelchair.
Oh yeah, the difference between he and Paul Pierce.
And Paul Pierce shit his freaking shorts and then needed a wheelchair so nobody would see the stain in his drawers. He claimed he had an injury, but no. The only thing that broke was his ego.
Yeah.
But again,
his lower intestines.
You got to give it up though. You know, with the NBA, they've gone to heights which would have never been imagined 2 decades ago. Same with the NFL. I mean, pretty much all the sports have taken it to another level. But the only thing is that there's only a couple of them, and I think that the NBA leads right now in that with the international flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's no question about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at it, guys. The NBA drafted Wembanyama last year from France, and the top 2 picks this year were from France as well.
Well, I told you there were 4 picks. There were 3 picks in the top 10
in
from
the top 10.
Yeah.
And 4 in the top 25.
Yes.
The Knicks took the kid from France.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, you're looking at kids that are busting their behinds, man. They don't see it as a free ride to get to the NBA. They see it as we got to show ourselves more because they don't get the exposure that the college kids here in the United States get. And
they're not playing on TV.
And they're already closing the gap. Like I said, 1/3 of the players that were drafted were from other countries.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the international players have been the toast of the draft for several years now.
And in the NBA especially. Because you ain't got a whole lot of guys coming internationally to play in the NFL as much as they do in the NBA or in the major leagues. Hockey's different because they're basically an international sport.
Right.
For God's sake, they're an Olympic sport. You know what I'm saying? But watch out, because did you see the other day when the U.S. football team got destroyed by Japan?
What the hell was that all about? I mean, who were the players in the American team? Were they NFL players or were they G League players? I mean, come on.
I mean, 3 touchdowns, 41-20. And these are guys that play football in America.
And we haven't gotten beaten that bad since Pearl Harbor. Come on, guys. What's going on?
I didn't know that Japan had football like that.
Me either.
I
know they got baseball, but football? What the hell?
That was the biggest sneak attack since Pearl Harbor.
I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, that did not look good.
Oh, no. It did not look good at all.
I mean, what kind of players were on the American team, Elliot? Do you know?
I have no idea, because you know what? When I saw that, I was just too disgusted to even want to.
Yeah, I saw the score. I was like, I need not go any further into this.
No.
I mean, the thought that someday we could have a Japanese quarterback go number 1 or something like that, it's just not quite resonating with me at this point.
Right.
Oh, that's like Mexico sending people to the NBA. It just doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Few and far between.
Mexico just got destroyed by 95 points by the American basketball team.
Hold on, guys.
U.S. beat Mexico by 95.
Breaking news. A jury in U.S. District Court ordered the NFL to pay more than $4.7 billion in damages Thursday after ruling that the league violated antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service, hence Sunday Ticket.
YouTube.
Was that
The jury awarded $4.7 billion in damages to the residential
Was it
class.
YouTube or DirecTV?
YouTube.
Yeah, it was YouTube.
Well, you see, and that's where the difference between streaming. So basically, a streaming service now got held liable for distributing stuff.
Well, you guys realize that how much? I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. NFL Sunday Ticket's freaking $400 a year.
I think it was what It was $469, I believe, last year. They're lowering the price to $380
now.
this year.
$386 now through YouTube. Yes.
See, that's just, to me, that's just boneheaded to get NFL Sunday Ticket, especially when you got the Red Zone channel. I get that for $10.99 a month for 4 months.
Right.
With YouTube.
I get paid. I subscribe to NFL Plus, so I get NFL Network and Sunday and NFL Red Zone all year long. So I mean,
right, but you don't get the NFL Sunday Ticket, which is you can watch any team.
I don't want the Sunday Ticket. It's too expensive.
I haven't. You know what? I'm not a proponent of the Sunday Ticket unless you're a diehard fan of a team and you want to see every single game from start to finish of the team that you root for.
You know what?
Now,
I'm a diehard Browns fan, and I don't need to have Sunday Ticket when I've got Red Zone. That if I know if during the Browns game there's a scoring play or something big happens, it's going to be on Red Zone. I don't need the Sunday Ticket.
To see what the subscription statistics are for Sunday Ticket in Dallas. Because those are the kinds of people that are going to buy so they can watch the Cowboys all day long, the whole game. You know.
But if you live in Dallas, you get it on the local broadcast network. It's not blacked out. The blackout rules no longer apply. So you don't have to order Sunday Ticket because you've got it on the broadcast.
Yeah, but you can watch other games too.
Well, yeah, but if you're a Dallas fan, who cares about the other games? You're watching Dallas.
One thing that baseball does, and I think basketball either used to or still does, is they give you an option of buying the whole package or just
your regional broadcast.
No, just your favorite team.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Your regional broadcast. I should have said your favorite team.
Well, that's what this lawsuit was trying to do, was to say, can you piecemeal NFL Sunday Ticket to where you can buy specifically which team you want to watch?
And they're the ones that don't do it because, like I said, basketball does it, baseball does it. I got MLB through T-Mobile. I get it free every year, and I can watch my Indians anytime I want to. And so do I. I hope nobody's watching, but I get it using my niece's sign up. So
well, I get it free from T-Mobile, so
I used to get it free from T-Mobile until I figured they were charging me too much money for their service.
Well, sure, yeah. But I've got a watch and I've got a watch and a phone and other services. So my T-Mobile bill is like $130 a month, but it's because they got the watch and all that stuff. So
I'll take it one step further. I don't have YouTube TV. I don't have NFL Sunday Ticket. But whenever I want to watch the 49ers and I know that they're going to broadcast another game down here in LA, I do VPN. And I go straight to the station in San Francisco or San Jose that's covering the game. So I just watch it. I might throw it to my television through casting, but usually I'll just my computer and watch it through VPN.
But for the layman viewer, as I said,
Chromecast is a wonderful thing, Elliot. It really is.
Yeah, no, I've seen all of those. But for the casual user, again, like you can get NBA League Pass. I think it's $150 a year. Or you can get your favorite team for $99 a year.
See, I'm not that big of an NBA fan. I could watch the Cavs that way.
If you don't have T-Mobile and you're not getting it for free, baseball gives you the option of purchasing. But here's the downside of that. although it's not really a downside because you get to watch the channels on your local station. But those blackout restrictions can apply as well.
Right. Well, like I said, if I were to get MLB, the season pass for MLB,
Extra innings.
I would not be able to watch the Rays because it's local, and blackout rules apply. But I'm not a Rays fan. I'm a Guardians fan, so I get to watch the Guardians whenever I want to during the season.
It's like I'm here in Florida now, and it's not going to happen to me anymore. Is that I can never watch the Yankees when they play Tampa, whether it's here or in New York,
unless you've got Bally's, and Bally's is like the yeah.
No.
Well, I have the MLB extra innings because I have DirecTV, and I watch all the Braves games unless they're playing the Dodgers. Then I have to switch to the Dodgers broadcast locally to watch it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also,
or the Angels, I should say, if they're playing the Angels as well.
Correct.
I mean, if I wanted to, I could have my niece send me her credentials for the Yes Network, and then I could watch the Yankee games that way.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the times, look, baseball. I mean, I'm a diehard Yankee fan, of course, as everybody well knows. But when it comes to baseball, I can only take so much over a period of time. I can't sit there and watch 162 games. It just doesn't work that way.
You know what? I don't take advantage of the MLB.com either much. I mean, unless granted, the Guardians the Guardians have the best record in baseball right now.
Actually, they do not.
No, they have the best record in the American League.
American League, okay. Philadelphia
got the best record in baseball.
Yeah, not by much.
I must be the oddball out of this group because I can sit and watch every baseball game, every inning of every baseball game, and not have a problem.
I can't do it. That's why I don't play fantasy baseball or fantasy basketball, because I can't do that shit on a daily basis.
Well, the Phillies have a percentage of 663, while the Guardians have a 654. So the Phillies have the better record.
It's half a game, basically. They're in a virtual tie, so to speak.
Yes, correct. Indians are 51 and 27, and they're still a game up on the Yankees, which is fine with me.
Yep. Be back in a moment.
I mean, it's already at that point where I'm starting to construct my banners for firing Aaron Boone again.
Well, you know what? The Indians just finished a series and beat the Orioles 2 out of 3 of the series. So I mean that was a pretty impressive.
The Orioles haven't been doing all that much. They got swept by Houston last weekend.
Yeah.
And we all know Houston hasn't been the same team this year that they have.
But the Orioles are only 1 game behind the Yankees in that division. They're only 1 game behind.
That's because the Yankees keep freaking losing to the Mets.
They got swept by the Mets, didn't they?
2 games. I mean, if you want to call that a sweep, so be it. But I don't think a sweep should apply.
Grimace is doing his job. I'm just saying.
But that's 4 series in a row that we've lost. And honestly, there was a caption where we're 0-5 since somebody took a picture of Dak Prescott wearing a Yankees jersey.
I got back just in time to enjoy that comment.
I love it. I love it.
And we're actually, I think, since Boone took the night off to go to his son high school graduation, and Brad Ausmus was the interim manager for the night, the Yankees have lost 4 out of their last 5 since then. So again, this is where the time of the year is approaching, where I start asking for Aaron Boone's head on a pike. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that, honestly, I don't think that this team is ever going to reach the heights that it used to until they get rid of Brian Cashman. Cashman is a freaking idiot. Okay. He makes deals that make no freaking sense. He got some guy from Oakland, gave up 2 farm kids for some guy in Oakland who's a 230 batting average. Come on, give me a freaking break. And then he's got new guys like this Ben Rice kid. he's not giving him the chance to become. He likes to go out and get all these retreads, and to me, that's where the problem lies. I mean, I'm gonna be a diehard Yankees fan, but I'm not gonna.
You have been an Aaron. I mean, you've been bashing him for 5 years, Elliot. I mean, come on.
Oh, and that's because I'm not one to sugarcoat shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Aaron Boone was great as a player, but not so much as a manager.
That's why I think Hal Steinbrenner should sell the team to somebody who gives a damn about baseball and winning.
So you're hoping that the Yankees get sold to somebody other than the Steinbrenners. You want the Steinbrenner era
other than this Steinbrenner.
George was ruthless.
George was all about the team.
Well, yeah. George was the best owner in baseball for so many years. I mean, it was all on him, and he took control of that team.
His demon spawn is all about money.
Right.
Okay. And
George was all about winning. I mean, what do you do? Fire Billy Martin 4 or 5 times in this game?
He didn't care what he had to spend.
Yeah.
And he wasn't listening to nobody telling him he shouldn't.
Correct.
Like the other day when Steinbrenner made it, we can't exist as a team with this kind of payroll. Dude, your dad blew. He was fine paying a luxury tax. He didn't give a shit.
Right.
Because there's a certain standard when it comes to the New York Yankees ever since Steinbrenner became the owner back in the early 70s.
Right. Well, the last championship was what, 2009? Is that
right?
2009 when we beat the Phillies. Hideki Matsui had 6 RBIs in Game 6.
Steinbrenner died when? George.
He died shortly thereafter. Oh no, he died during that season. Actually,
during that season.
Yeah.
So that tells you something, that since George has been gone, the Yankees have not won a World Series.
You're preaching to the choir, man.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, that's I mean, come on.
You got 3 blind mice running the Yankees right now.
Yeah, I mean, George was in a golf cart for the most of his last year as an owner because of his.
Between Steinbrenner, Cashman, and Boone, they're the 3 blind mice in pinstripes. Okay.
Well, you can't get rid of Steinbrenner because you can't fire him.
Right.
I know you have a disdain for Boone, but Cashman is the problem to me.
You can urge the dude to sell the team if he doesn't give a damn.
Let me ask you, Elliot, is Joe Torre the best manager in Yankees history? Or was it Billy Martin or somebody else?
I'm going to say that Joe Torre, for a sustained period of time, was the best manager in the era that he managed.
I agree. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Okay. Because the Yankees have had some good managers. I mean, if you think back, Billy Martin was a great manager. He just had this funky relationship.
He and George had a really funky relationship, but George fired him more times than he hired him. Yes, I agree.
But he won.
Yeah.
We used to have a manager named Bob Lemon that was really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the sustained period, but you got to think back too. How about the Murderers Row Yankees from back
in the 77?
No, I'm talking about
27.
Yeah,
27. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
They won like 8 out of 10 World Series and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Who was the manager at that time? Do you remember?
I have no idea. I don't remember. McCarthy, maybe.
I don't know.
Or I don't remember either.
I mean, that was the Babe Ruth Yankees, and there was nobody better than Babe Ruth at the time.
And you know what? Joe Girardi wasn't a bad manager either.
Okay.
Because technically, Joe Girardi is the last manager to win us a World Series.
09.
And the only reason that they got rid of him was because he wasn't a yes man to Cashman the way that Boone is.
By the way, here's one that you didn't have on your bingo card. Miller Huggins. Manager in 1927.
There you go.
He was the manager in 27?
Miller Huggins.
Who the fuck is Miller Huggins?
Exactly what I thought when I Googled it.
Miller Huggins would be 97 years old right now if he was still around. You know what I'm saying? I'm a diehard Yankees, and I know Babe Ruth. I don't know no damn Miller Huggins, but but in the 50s they were tough too. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get 27 world titles if you're not good for decades at a time.
And they were good in the 60s too, Elliot. I mean, come on, they had that huge roster in the 60s too.
Well, actually, no, we didn't do anything in the 60s. After 61, when we lost to the Pirates.
Didn't do anything in the 80s either. 80s was really.
The 80s were really bad. The 80s were really bad in New York.
We didn't make it to the World Series after 61 until 76.
Yeah.
Okay, when we got swept by the Reds. All right.
The Big Red Machine?
We won, yeah. And then we won in 81 against the Dodgers and never made it again until 1996 against a team from someplace called Atlanta.
The Braves.
And they beat the Braves in 96. Again, like I said, Wayne,
if it weren't for Sandy Alomar Jr., we would have won 5 World Series in a row. When he hit that ball off Mariano in the late innings and Cleveland eliminated the Yankees.
Cleveland won the ALCS with that.
That was in 97.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what, Elliot? To this day, I am still bitter. And I mentioned this Sunday. I am still bitter that the only World Series the Braves won in the 90s was against the freaking Indians.
I think a lot of teams could claim that, like the Florida Marlins.
The Cubs in 2016.
The Cubs.
Yeah. Cleveland is the bridesmaid for a lot of teams.
They haven't won a World Series since 1948.
Okay, that's a longer streak than the Browns, dude.
Yes.
Although the Browns
48? Oh, yeah, 48. I was thinking it was 45.
No, it was 48.
48.
76 years, man.
Yeah, and they played the Giants in 54 with Willie Mays, made that historic catch.
You guys are getting close to the Red Sox record of 86.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the Guardians are being underrated by the national media because they don't even consider them. They're looking at who's going to win the World Series, and they don't even consider the Guardians in their fact. They look at the Yankees, the Orioles, Dodgers, Giants. Come on.
You know why that is? It's because of the established history. Okay, the fact that Cleveland overall, whether they're the Guardians or the Indians, they've always had a tendency to choke when it mattered.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're playing in one of the worst divisions in baseball.
I agree.
Okay. So
but again, they just won it. They just won the series against the Orioles. They won 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. So.
Well, I understand that. And again, it's still June. When August comes around, if they're still doing the same thing, then you can walk around with your flag and your whistle and. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not even halfway through the season yet. Well, technically, I guess once you get to 81 games, you'll be halfway through, which some teams are. But
yeah,
look, baseball doesn't really start until after the All-Star break.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Okay, and after the trade deadline.
And I will say this: Ramirez is the man in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Well, he loves Cleveland. He had plenty of opportunities to leave. He said, "This is the team that drafted me. This is where I want to stay." So I give him props for wanting to be there.
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez right now is the man in Cleveland. Along with
Jose Ramirez is he's like the Albert Bell of this era.
Yes, that's correct. And you know what? Stephen Kwan has also been a huge contributor as well.
What about Naylor?
Naylor's been big too.
I was gonna say not the catcher, but the first baseman.
Josh Naylor. Yes, he's been a huge contributor too as well. I mean, I think the Guardians are the most underrated team in Major League Baseball because, I mean, granted they play in the worst division in baseball. I'm not gonna disagree with that, but they've got some pretty big bats and some great pitching in Cleveland right now. And
again, it's only history that casts a shadow on Cleveland.
Correct. I'm with you, Elliot. I'm with you on that.
Historic collapses and lack of winning when it matters. That stuff follows you. That's a shadow. That's like a black cloud that follows you around until you're able to get rid of it. And
Right.
until they do that every year, it doesn't matter if they got the best record in baseball or not. What does that matter when you get into the playoffs and you lose?
Look at the Cubs. Look at the Red Sox in recent years.
Look at the Dodgers winning over 100 games and getting swept in the first round.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, there's such a thing as great regular season teams, and then there's such a thing as also rans when it comes in the playoffs. And Cleveland will always be considered that until they get over that hump. And they've had opportunities, but they wound up blowing them. So history is what's making them be overlooked.
Yes, I agree.
And they are capitalizing on the fact that they play in one of the, which is great. You
Yep.
should. If
Yep.
the rest of your division sucks, then it's imperative that you win in that division and take it a step further. But again, bottom line is this: it's like Dwayne said the other day. He'd rather be a wild card than a division winner. Right?
Yep.
Because a lot of pressure comes with that. You can build a big record beating up on sorry teams all season long, but what's your record against the good teams?
Well, and just to give you a perspective, there's 7.5 games up in the Central,
Yeah.
but that's up on Minnesota, which
And Minnesota's
Minnesota.
been garbage all season long this year, which is kind of surprising because they're usually pretty good.
Yeah.
But Minnesota's another one that over the years they've done a lot of good things, but then when the playoffs came around, they freaking collapsed.
Well, Minnesota, if they could avoid the Yankees in the playoffs, maybe they could actually win. But dude, when they play the Yankees, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this series because I already know what's going to happen.
We own the freaking Twins, yo. We own it. They're playing us at regular season, preseason,
Preseason.
spring training.
It
It don't matter, dude. We can
doesn't
play.
matter what season the Yankees play the Twins.
We'll
It
beat
doesn't
them.
matter.
Hey, we'll beat them in Battle of the Network Stars if we had.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, no, kudos to Cleveland. They're doing really good right now. Again, it's not about what Cleveland does in the regular season.
It's all about the postseason. You are correct. Yes.
In the postseason.
Yeah, it's all about the postseason. Yeah, I agree.
That's the measuring stick for any.
Yeah, I mean they got to win the division, and then we'll go from there and see what happens in the postseason.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I'm with you on that, Elliot. I mean, they're not getting any credit because they're not being talked about in discussions regarding potential to win the World Series. Okay,
No,
despite having the second best record in Major League Baseball right now.
They will, but they've been in positions where they have best records here, there, and in other situations.
Well, and they fail in the wild card game where the first,
it's like right now, okay, that every year the expectation is for the Yankees to win the World Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
At least in New York, it is.
Recent history hasn't bore that out. You know what I'm saying? Because they can do great in the regular season, but when they get in the playoffs. And this started way back after the dynasty of 96 through
2001. Yeah.
Okay. After we lost the World Series to the Diamondbacks.
Which was a shocker, to be honest with you.
Which was an epic World Series, by the way.
Yeah.
That was the year of the attack on 9/11, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... But ever since then, the whole dynamic of the Yankees has changed.
Mm.
And now that they're, right now, a lot of people are like, well, the Yankees are doing the same thing they've been doing for the last decade, and that's, rolling out hard. And I still have hopes that they'll right the ship. Right now, they're going through a rough patch.
Yep.
And I get that. But still, rough patch, they're still the third best team in baseball right now.
Right.
And as much as you love J-Ram, that boy Aaron Judge ain't no joke. 30 home runs.
30. He's on pace.
Over 80 RBIs. He's got like 80-something RBIs right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the pace to break the record that he set 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely on a pace to crack more than 62.
I mean, he had a grand slam last night, but they still lost the game.
That was the night before.
The night before with the Mets,
We
yes.
hit no grand slam last night because we only scored 2 runs last
I
night.
can say, yeah, they got smashed last night. I watched the last flipping. That's why I missed draft picks 26 through 29. I was watching the Mets win.
But that's just it. I don't like. My wife comes in yesterday after they took that 9-1 lead on Tuesday, and they came back, made it a close game. I started sensing that right now the Yankees are in that time where they tend to slump, and it has a lot to do with Aaron Boone. Because Aaron Boone makes bad managerial decisions.
Because I know how much you hate Aaron Boone. So
Well, it's not even, but you see, that's just it. My hate is justified. Because the guy has, I mean, look, they got rid of Joe Girardi because they said because of the analytics thing. But that's what freaking Boone does. He uses analytics to justify his decisions, and they never freaking work. Whatever happened to the feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it could be worse. It could be Gabe Kapler.
And that's why Minnesota's where they are right now.
Oh
You know what I'm
God.
saying? Rocco Baldelli.
Oh, all right. We're gonna stop here. It's 8:30. It's 8:02. So we're past 2 minutes past.
Oh boy, sue
Um,
us.
Some
Great,
great.
because it didn't feel like an hour.
It didn't. No, you're right. When it didn't. I mean, it's amazing because we're in the dog days of summer where the only active sport right now is baseball.
Well,
So
you saw the meme I put up, right?
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John posted in the chat, and you went, "Okay, Brett, thank you very much."
Okay,
but I already
Brett, I posted
posted
that
this.
yesterday. Hello.
All right, we're gonna call it a night. I want to thank those that joined us on YouTube. That's the link I posted in our SNN chat because Facebook, for some reason, didn't want to post our show tonight. I want to thank those that showed up tonight. Elliot, what?
Fuck Facebook.
Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, on behalf of my co-host tonight, Mr. Big E, the producer, Elliot Lamba, and Wayne, Mr. the Professor Lynch, I am the Sports Nerd, and we shall return on Sunday night at 7:30, our normal time on Sunday nights. I want to, and on that note, Mr. Elliot Big E Lamba, play out the outro, please.
Thank you once again, Nerd Nation, for spending part, if not all of your evening with us here for this latest episode of the Sports Nerd Show. Please keep in mind that we do this on a regular basis every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. And since each night's start time is different, please check out our SNN group page on Facebook for the correct time. So until the next time we come together, Nerd Nation, on behalf of the Sports Nerd and his co-hosts, Ken Cosmo, John Holston, Wayne Lynch, and me, Big E, may your lives be filled with all the best sports action anyone human can handle, as well as all the joy it can possibly bring you. And with all that said, good night, Nerd Nation, as the time has come to say we